glitter of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again, you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Like most Americans, the folks in Frostbite Falls, Minnesota, rely heavily on their television sets, not just for eating off of, but for the evening news.
80,000 men a year. And now here's tonight's cutie. Creighton Finney of Butte Falls fell into an open manhole, was swept down the Colorado River, and came out 30 days later in the Pacific Ocean. Weather report for tomorrow. Clear, cloudy skies with gusty showers and sunny late mornings following the snowstorm. And now this is...
That weather report was about as accurate as one dared to get, for in Frostbite Falls, you never knew when it was going to be next.
Phil, don't forget your golashes.
I'm going to bed, Aggie.
Day in, day out, the citizens were at the mercy of a very unpredictable climate. They were, that is, until the Committee for Civic Improvement got to work.
Well, boys, how's she look?
Long as she forecasts the weather, who cares how she looks?
For the sum of $33.15, they had purchased a fortune-telling machine from an abandoned penny arcade. You simply put a coin in the slot, the lady in the window dealt cards, and the hand she laid down determined the weather.
4 tens.
That means light snow.
And it did snow lightly for about 3 weeks.
4 kings.
Rising temperatures.
Sure enough, it got to be 121. Months went by, and tourists from all over the world ogled the odd weather machine. 1 or 2 even attempted to buy it without success. It remained for those 2 flies in the ointment, Boris and Natasha, to spoil what could have been an uninteresting but easy to narrate story.
Oh, you men are all alike, Boris. You got brunette with you. You look at blonde.
I not look at blonde, Natasha. I look at cards.
It seems the machine was so well oiled.
Lucky machine.
It was operating better than ever. The hands manipulated the cards at blinding speed with a dexterity seldom seen outside of Las Vegas.
Who cares about the speed, buddy boy? I like what cards she holds.
Oh, the cunning brain of that man, for sure enough, she never put down a hand without showing at least 4 of a kind.
Yeah, but can she play pinochle?
Don't be jealous. She could be the answer to our problems.
We don't got no problems.
Well, we better get some then, or we won't be in the next episode.
The clock in the tower at the far end of town struck midnight. Boris struck 2, under cover of a dense fog.
4 queens.
He and Natasha escorted the weather lady right out of town. The following morning...
Let's go, Rock. Get your glove and let's get down to the field. The team is counting on us, you know.
Wait a second. Suppose it rains.
Mercy me, we better check.
And they dashed post-haste to the site where the weather machine had been located.
Doggone it. That's the 5th nickel I put in and she still won't work.
Bullwinkle, you don't seem to realize the weather lady is gone.
Maybe if I tried a dime.
Sure is a mystery.
Maybe she works on slugs.
It was then that Rocky noticed the heavy-duty tire tracks leading away from the scene of the crime.
They loaded her here, turned around there, and drove off there. Come on.
Hours later, after miles of painstaking plotting, they reached the moving van.
Shh!
We'll sneak up from both sides.
Oh, if it were only fair to warn them, for the bridge that empty van was resting on had definitely been tampered with. We might have a disaster here. Don't miss the Rolling Stone or Look Ma, No Moss.
Once upon a time, there was a king named Midas. He was a very greedy king indeed. The one thing he loved most in the world was
Gold.
the one thing he had the most of was
Gold.
and the one thing he wanted more of was
Gold, gold, gold.
So he sent his tax collectors into the kingdom to do his gold gathering for him. As the people grew poorer and poorer from being taxed, Midas grew richer and richer. Finally, the people were reduced to living on a diet of turnips. As a result, King Midas began to get the funny feeling that people didn't like him very much.
I need to do something to make people like me. Then I can tax them even more.
So the king called a meeting of his advisors, Bobble, Bangle, Bead, and Benson.
Gentlemen, I must be made popular.
Well, sire, I'm just talking off the top of my thatch.
What is it, Benson?
Well, what about lowering the taxes? We could... That wasn't it, huh?
The next day, the king called another meeting of his advisors, Bobble, Bangle, and Bead.
Well, let's put this idea on the rack, see how it stretches, KM. We'll point out your warm human qualities.
What warm human qualities?
Well, you must have some.
Like what?
Dogs. Everybody likes dogs.
I hate dogs!
I can see it now. Heralds all over the kingdom, posters on every wall. Midas loves mutts.
Hear ye, hear ye! This day, King Midas will free all dogs in the royal dog pound.
Sure enough, as the people watched, the king let all the dogs loose.
Maybe he's not all bad. Animals like him.
Your Majesty, would you like to pet Tweaky here?
Oh, how nice! A lovely pussycat. Pussycat!
And the king was instantly buried in a snarling mass of dogs.
Get off, you mutts! Get off! Oh, I hate dogs!
Just as I thought. A fake.
And the people once more pelted the king with turnips. Before, they had just disliked him. Now they despised him. So the next day, Midas called another meeting of his advisors, Bobble and Bangle.
All right, now what?
Well, let's put this in a crossbow and see how it shoots. Midas, you'll slay a dragon.
Me?
You.
Ooh. Good! Hear ye, hear ye! King to fight dragon!
Maybe there's something good about Midas after all.
Well, on the appointed day, King Midas strode forth to do battle with the fire-breathing dragon, which, of course, wasn't a real dragon at all.
Avaunt, foul fiend!
Unfortunately, as Midas swung, the head flew off his axe and felled a nearby tree.
Another fake!
So the people again let fly with turnips.
Boo, boo, boo.
By now, they didn't just despise the king, they actually hated him. Next day, the king called a meeting of his advisor, Bobble.
Well, Bobble, what now?
Well, sire, let's just throw this in the moat, see if it floats. What about giving you the golden touch?
Isn't that expensive?
Well, not if you just use this spray gun and this cheap gold paint.
Good thinking, Bobble.
The word spread in a flash.
King has gold touch. Midas 24-carat monarch. Big free demonstration.
People came from all over to watch the king turn things into gold. Hats, canes, bushes, even rocks.
That's gold?
Looks like gold?
Yeah.
Feels like gold?
Yeah.
The king says it's gold?
Yeah.
It's gold.
Hooray for King Midas!
Well, the king sprayed more and more things until everything in the kingdom looked as if it were made of gold. Midas, of course, was very popular, but since everybody had more make-believe gold than he could use, gold began to lose its value. Soon, it took a wheelbarrow full of gold just to buy one turnip. But back in his castle, the king was very happy indeed.
Bobble, You've done it. The people like me, and I'm still the richest man in the kingdom.
Not quite, sire.
Huh?
The country has gone off the gold standard.
What? Well, what is the standard now?
Turnips.
Turnips?
Yes, turnips it was. And of course, everybody had some turnips. Everybody except King Midas. With nothing but gold, he was the poorest man in his own kingdom.
You mean I'm broke, Bubble?
Looks like, sire.
So the next day, the king called a meeting of his advisors. And of course, nobody was there but him. Today, King Midas lives in a very modest castle on a little side street. He still has lots and lots of friends, and of course, he still has the golden touch.
And now for all you co-eds who wish to become scholars, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello out there, scholarly maids. Today's subject is how to get into the movies without buying a ticket. The first approach is to go directly to the manager and say, "Where's my pass?" Unruffled by that minor setback, we try phase 2, which involves a disguise. Hello there, I'm Flo Ziegfeld. How's my show going tonight? Phase 3, seeking out the location of the freight elevator, we then proceed down into the basement, where we shall then proceed up to the balcony. That's the deepest basement I ever saw.
Is gate-crashing moose again?
Hello, Mr. Theater Manager. I should like to apply for a job as a usher.
What experience you got?
I've been in the dark most of my life.
Is good enough. Course, job don't pay much.
How much?
Bag of popcorn and all ticket stubs you can find.
It's a deal! Donning the usherette's uniform, we then proceed to our post in the mezzanine. Going through a door, we find ourselves... Oop. Wrong door. Hello, Mr. Theater Manager. I took the wrong...
Where's your ticket?
I don't need a ticket. I'm your new usher.
Don't need no new usher. Just hired new usher.
That did it. I wouldn't go in that theater if they gave me the place.
Why not?
I just happened to notice. I've seen this picture 3 times already.
That's a pretty strange-looking painting, Bullwinkle.
I just paint what I see.
Well, what do you see?
This is what I see.
Hello out there. Peabody and Sherman here. The Wayback Machine, my incomparable invention for traveling through time, has been set for the year 1513.
Which direction are we heading, Mr. Peabody?
South, Sherman, specifically Florida, and our host will be the illustrious Spanish explorer Ponce de Leon, the man who sought the fabled Fountain of Youth. The Wayback took us way back instantly to a small clearing in the heart of the Florida Everglades. We saw no sign of Ponce de Leon or his men, merely a large tent with a white object flying above it.
Ponce de Leon's flag, Mr. Peabody.
That's no flag, Sherman. That is a baby's bib. What's more, as we rounded the tent, the clearing abounded in diapers, and there, slaving over a washtub, was the distinguished explorer.
Oh, Mondays. How I detest Mondays.
Buenos dias, Ponce de Leon.
Buenos dias. Ah, tourists. You are on your way to Palm Beach, no doubt.
No, Mr. de Leon. We came to see if we couldn't help you find the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, that's very noble of you, but it has already been discovered.
You found it?
Oh, not me, my men. That is them over there playing with blocks. They were grown men when they reached the fountain, and they were very thirsty.
Drank too much?
See, now instead of blowing taps each night, I play Brahms' lullaby. Oh, it's very degrading.
We accepted Ponce's invitation to stay for lunch and sat down to a large bowl of mush. The luncheon progressed nicely, although I was forced into burping Lieutenant Rodriguez, 3 months of age. We were about to embark on a custard pudding when Ponce noticed that one of his men was missing.
Corporal Gonzales. He's not in his high chair.
A quick search of the grounds turned up nothing, not even a clue.
Oh, that's not like Gonzales to go AWOL. He was always a most conscientious soldier. He would not crawl away.
Gee, Mr. Peabody, a little baby like that lost in the Everglades.
Perhaps he was thirsty, and if he was thirsty, he may be heading for the fountain. Quick, Ponce, lead us to the fountain. Gonzales couldn't stand growing any younger. Ponce de Leon issued orders for his command to remain in their barracks, which is to say he unceremoniously dumped them into a playpen. 5 minutes later, we arrived at the Fountain of Youth.
Look, it's the baby, and he's going to drink.
Attention! Stand at attention!
But the glass never wavered. Glancing about, I noticed a rattlesnake slumbering blissfully on the limb of a nearby tree. With deft hand, I shook his rattles, taking care not to rouse him. Naturally, the sound of the rattle arrested the attention of Corporal Gonzales.
Corporal Gonzales, you are under arrest and hereby confined to your bassinet.
We returned to the clearing and prepared to give Ponce de Leon's soldier a change of uniform. That's when the attack started.
Indians! The Seminole Indians!
Herding the soldiers together, we retreated inside Ponce de Leon's tent.
I knew that sooner or later they would find us. Quick, issue each man a musket.
Musket? They can't even hold a bottle.
What'll we do, Mr. Peabody? We're outnumbered.
Only one thing to do, Sherman. Fight fire with fire. I waited until darkness, then crept slowly out of camp. Then suddenly, I was in the midst of the Seminoles.
Why we not attack 'em in darkness? Why must Indian always wait till dawn?
We take pictures of battle. No got flashbulb for night fighting.
Assured the Seminoles wouldn't attack till daylight, I continued on. Then early the following morning, I rejoined Sherman and Ponce.
Senor Peabody, quick! I think the Indians are about to attack.
But instead of attacking, the Seminole chief came into the clearing all alone.
A white flag! They've surrendered!
Again, you're wrong, Sherman. That white flag is a diaper. You see, last night I went to the Fountain of Youth, took a generous supply of the water, and crept into the Seminole camp. While the Indians were sleeping, I spiked their water supply.
But if that is true, then the Indians are...
Babies? Yes. And at that very moment, 4 of the most ferocious braves crawled out of the brush.
White man, I come in peace. I have come to trade for diapers.
And so the battle never came off. In fact, Ponce and the Seminole chief became such good friends, they erected the Fountain of Youth Nursery School.
Well, all's well that ends well, Mr. Peabody.
Precisely, Sherman. By the way, what is that you have in your hand?
This? Oh, just an old rusty key I found in the dirt.
Well, congratulations, my boy. You are now a landowner.
Landowner, Mr. Peabody?
Of course, Sherman. You now own one of the Florida Keys.
As though the problem of predicting the weather for Frostbite Falls had been overcome.
Wife's looking better these days, Mr. Mayor.
That's not my wife. City Council purchased this machine from a penny arcade. What cards does she show?
4 deuces.
Foggy tonight.
It was so foggy, no one ventured out on the streets. No one but those enterprising rascals, Boris and Natasha.
A foggy night in Frostbite Falls.
Oh, for pity's sake, Boris, why you get a stealing blonde who deals cards?
Because, Natasha, ooh, that's heavy. Blonde dealer never deals less than 4 of a kind.
Interesting, but uninformative.
Please to zip up your mouth. You should give us away?
But the town slept solidly, and it wasn't until some 12 hours later that the heinous crime was discovered.
They put her in a moving van and drove off in that direction.
However, the tire tracks came to a halt not too far from town. In the center of a very unsteady bridge, our heroes cornered their quarry.
Let's go get her, Bullwinkle.
Someone had sawed away at the understructure. Collapse seemed imminent.
Bullwinkle, shh.
Don't shh me, Rock. Shh the doggone bridge.
Meanwhile, at the top of Sam Hill...
Let me look, Boris. After all, it was my dime.
All you look at, Natasha, is panoramic view. I looking for panoramic disaster. Ah, that eliminates moose and squirrel.
Also moving van.
Natasha, there comes a time when we must shoulder the load, when life's burdens become...
Enough! I carried the blonde first mile, you carry a second.
That is fair.
Yes, it was, considering it was only a mile to the river, and that was Boris's ultimate goal. Let's rejoin this twosome later and go back to where the bridge crashed into the gorge.
They ought to have this bridge condemned.
And with that parting shot, the lads retraced their steps back to Frostbite Falls. It was just about that time that Boris, Natasha, and the weather lady reached the little river town of Wachowie Falls.
Okay, Samson, your turn to carry it.
Natasha, it will give me great privilege to do so.
And he toted it 3 steps inside a boat-building establishment owned by a man named Hiram Trump.
Mr. Trump, my card.
Ace of diamonds. You a gambling man, mister?
No, but with a moniker like Trump, you must be.
Who's the sick lady in the sedan chair?
That, my friend, is unposilutely the world's most fantabulistic card player, what it is.
She plays cards?
Like a snake.
Well, this river town was noted for its poker games, and in less than an hour, Trump's interior was jammed with onlookers and players alike.
Well, what do you know? 4 queens.
I'll be. That's the 10th straight hand she's come up with, 4 of a kind. Well, that cleans us out, I guess.
41,042.
Mr. Trump, I don't want your money.
40. Wow.
Here, take this filthy lucre back.
But you won it, fair and square.
Well, maybe square. Look, you give us a little going-away gift and you can keep money.
What kind of a gift?
Oh, say that steamboat sitting outside by the dock.
Say, what's Boris up to, besides no good? Well, perhaps we'll find out in our next installment, a Southern-style breakfast, or how many grits can you eat?
Looks as if our time is just about run out.
Mine must be a little slow.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop!
Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.